Hey, what is up, everybody? I wanted to make this video earlier this week, but I didn't really get a chance to. I was just busy doing other things, so I'm finally getting a chance now to make this video. Um, Obviously, everybody can tell by the title down below. It's called Remembering Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Now, obviously, Superfly Jimmy Snuka was a former WWE legend. Technically, he was a former WWE Hall of Famer, even though technically they wrote him out of the Hall of Fame. Um, and something tragic to him happened to him this week. He ended up passing away, and I have an article right here that tells me that. I'm just gonna kind of read this. I don't know if there's been more information since then, so I apologize. But I just got this. I posted this on Sunday, so I'm just kind of I was just kind of breezing through. I was gonna save this for this video, so let me kind of read this article, and then I'll kind of give my opinion on this type of stuff. So the article is called Wrestler Jimmy Superfly Snuka Dead at 73. And this is what it says, pretty much. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the high-flying wrestling legend who spent his last years battling criminal charges, died Sunday, just days after getting a murder charge dropped in the decades-old death of his mistress. He was 73. Dwayne Johnson, the actor formerly known as the hold on, let me read that again. Dwayne Johnson, the actor formerly known as WWE star The Rock, broke the news on behalf of Snuka's daughter, Tamina. And this is via words from The Rock on Twitter. Our family at Tamina Snuka asked me to share the sad news that her dad, Jimmy Snuka, has just passed away. I know I'm gonna try to read this, but it's not in English, so I won't be able to. Alofa Atu Li Gia Atoa, I think is how you say that. Johnson tweeted using a Samoan phrase translated to "love the family." The daughter herself, a WWE star, posted an Instagram photo of her holding her father's frail hands. So, and then here it is. I want to see if I can show you the picture. So this is the picture on Instagram. I'm going to see if it lets me show it. So this is the picture of Tamina holding Snuka's arms one final time. And it says, hold on, it's a little technical difficulties, but it says, I love you, Dad, she said. WWE stars chimed in with praise for their fallen fighter. Rest in peace, Superfly, Hulk Hogan tweeted. Only love. The WWE, which cut ties with Snuka after his murder charge and deleted his page from its website, confirmed his death in a terse statement calling him the pioneer of high-flying offense. The cause of death was not immediately announced. Snuka, who died in Panama Beach, Florida, I believe is where that is, had been battling terminal stomach cancer and dementia. Which I can kind of see because I've gone to wrestling events and you can just kind of tell. I don't know about the stomach cancer. I don't know if it's a recent thing, but he definitely wasn't really with it. The one time Winkin saw charges dismissed January 3rd for the 1983 death of his mistress, Nancy Argentino, in a Pennsylvania hotel room, which, I'm going to continue reading though. He evaded charges for more than 30 years until a local newspaper raised fresh questions about whether Snuka told the truth in the case. Obviously, I made a video about this, I believe, in the summer of 2015, talking very descriptively about it, so you can kind of go there to check it out, because it's what happens. Born James Willie Smith in Fuji, Snuka grew up in Hawaii, started started wrestling in the 70s and joined the company then known as the World Wrestling Federation in 1982. Stepping into the ring with Tarzan garb and bald feet, Snuka soon drew fame for his acrobatic battling style. His signature move, the Superfly splash, which saw him climbing the top of the rope, stretching out his hair and flinging his body onto an opponent. His splash from the top of a 15-foot steel cage in Madison Square Garden in 1983 remains one of the most WWE's most remains one of the WWE's most famous moments. Snuka jumped between the WWE and other wrestling leagues throughout the late 90s and made occasional four-ways, I don't know how to say that word, back into the ring as late as 2014. The WWE inducted him into its Hall of Fame in 1996. Outside the ring, he fought a cocaine habit and lingering rumors about his role in Argentino's death. And then obviously then afterwards it shows The Rock's tweet. The married man's 23-year-old girlfriend had been found dead in an Alien Town hotel bed in May 1983. Her body covered in cuts and bruises. Her death was ruled an accident, something Snuka reported in interviews and in his 2012 memoir Superfly. But a 2013 report in Aliens Town Morning Call newspaper noted that an autopsy ruled Argentino's death a homicide, and that's... I just had to take a breath. Snuka gave conflicting statements to police about what happened to her. And then it shows a picture. Jimmy Superfly Snuka center in the ring so I'll show you the picture, and then I'll kind of explain it, because it... Left Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Roddy Piper, and Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 25 in 2009. According to police records, Snuka told detectives Argentino slipped and hit her head, but he told a responding police officer he shoved her. Snuka was charged in 2015 with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter, but Snuka's failing health brought the case to a halt. In June 2016, Leah Country Judge Kelly Bannock, I don't know how to say that last name, declared the wrestler incompetent to stand trial. By the end of the year, Snuka's doctors said his battle with cancer left him with only months to live. And then obviously then afterwards it shows Hulk Hogan's tweet. The charge was dismissed 3 days into 2017. No other suspects have been named in Argentino's death. Remarking on the case last year, Bannock said, "Justice suffers after 30 years because everything decays." And then that's the end of the article. So obviously it kind of sucks that he died. He was obviously, one of the great legends. He was really the first one to do any type of high-flying moves. He kind of started that barrier ground behind it. He was the first one to do the splash from the top rope. Obviously, the moment when he jumps off the steel cage, in Madison Square Garden, I believe it was onto Bob Backlund, who was the champion, is obviously a memorable moment. I believe it was against Bob Backlund, but I could be wrong. But it was obviously a memorable moment that will never be forgotten. Obviously I'm going to remember his feud with Roddy Piper. When he appeared on Piper's pit and Piper cracked him over the head with a coconut. I'm going to remember seeing him wrestle live. I believe he wrestled Ted Goods live, which he was not Ted Goods then. He was Ladies Man. And then Biff Busick had come out and turned into a 6-man tag. I'm going to remember when he appeared on Chris Jericho in the Piper's Pit, and they kind of redid the whole segment. And obviously his appearance at WrestleMania 25 that I just talked about. His appearance at the first ever main event of WrestleMania when he was in the corner of Hulk Hogan and Mr. T to face Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff with Cowboy Bob Orton in his corner. I'm trying to think of anything else that he might have done in his career. I mean, obviously he's done a lot, and he's battled some stuff. Just kind of sucks. I personally don't think he deserves to be kind of taken out because yes, the charges were dropped, but we still don't. It's up in the air if he murdered him. I personally think he probably did. I don't think he probably did it on purpose, but he probably was on something, and just did it and didn't know what he was doing. That could be what it is. That's kind of what happens sometimes. Um, you know it, and he, like I said, he just, when I saw him though, he definitely wasn't healthy. And he definitely didn't seem with it. I think the autograph that I have, you can't even tell that he signed it. You can't even see it. So it's, I think I have it somewhere. I don't know where I put it though. Um, but obviously, it does suck. It does suck to lose a legend, wrestling legend, because he really huge in the '80s. And obviously probably in like the late '70s. Um, so it sucks that he had to pass away, but that's, you could kind of see him. You could kind of, I mean, even though it sucks, you could kind of see it coming. Um, it is a huge loss to the wrestling world because everybody remembers Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Someone, obviously, if you think of Hulk Hogan when you first watch wrestling, they think of Ric Flair. But a lot of people who watched it at that in the '80s always talk about Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Obviously, I remember him putting over the Undertaker. He was the Undertaker's first opponent ever at WrestleMania. He was the starter of the streak. So it's gonna be suck to lose. It sucks to lose the legend. It really does. I remember he had a feud with Rick Rude too. I like that feud. So it sucks to lose a legend, but sometimes you gotta remember the memories that you have, and that helps you get through them. A lot of these wrestlers, fortunately, have to go easy, pass away just because they do a lot of bad stuff. They did a lot of bad stuff back then, so it just sucks. But overall, that's the end of my video. Like, it sucks that Superfly Jimmy Snuka passed away. I personally think that he probably did murder his wife, so I'm gonna hate him in that aspect, just like the same way I feel about Chris Benoit. Even though Chris Benoit, we know the story, he still murdered somebody, and I just can't forgive someone who's murdered somebody. Like with Chris Benoit, I'm not gonna judge the wrestler. He was an amazing talent, amazing wrestler. Because this is kind of where I can bring this up, But I just can't look past the fact with Chris Benoit that he murdered somebody. I know he was on a bunch of steroids and everything, but that kind of doesn't change anything, It's just kind of, it's his fault. It's the WWE's fault on that. In this case, this is all, I'll at least say with Chris Benoit, it's not completely his fault. It's not completely his doing. There's obviously other things that play with that. With Superfly Jimmy Snuka, he was old. Well, with his murder, I don't know about his murder because obviously I wasn't alive in the '80s. But I don't know. I've always had like a strange feeling about him. Every time I see him come out, he doesn't really speak. He has that, like, if you see him, he has that weird, creepy vibe to him. So that's kind of what I think of Superfly Jimmy Snuka. He's one hell of a legend, and I'll never take that away from him. But he's whatever. But that's gonna end my video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and my other channels. And if you wanna comment down below memories that you have of Superfly Jimmy Snuka, feel free. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll talk to you later.